Welcome back into the Pig Trail Show, and welcome into another Arkansas football recruiting report. Otis, we took off last week. A whole lot of things going on with the College World Series. All that
Yeah.
means is we have just a jam-packed show today. We are going
Oh,
to
yeah.
fly through a whole lot of Arkansas recruiting news here, and we start with we still remain in official visit season here for the Hogs. And I know you got to catch up with just a wide group of them in terms of coming on campus this past
Yeah.
weekend. We start in the secondary. Victor Lincoln, a corner out of Lancaster, Texas, a target for Arkansas, and a current Oklahoma State commit as it stands.
Yeah, and, Victor's one that was blown away by the visit. I mean, absolutely blown away. So that's one to keep an eye on here coming up in the next couple of weeks. He's he hasn't made a final decision yet. So we'll see when he does. But I expect something here in the next couple of weeks on Victor, and I don't think he's locked into Oklahoma State. I know he's committed there, committed in April, but I know Arkansas made a strong impression on him. They took him out to the coaches' houses and stuff, and just did a great job recruiting him. And he's a cornerback, and he's someone that Arkansas feels can play very, very early. He's just a 3-star, but he's a high 3-star. But he's one that maybe they feel like he's underrated, with his recruiting service and stuff. So we'll see. But I know Arkansas and Oklahoma State, a lot of schools like him. He's got a ton of offers, but it's down to those two schools. And Baylor tried to get in there and some other schools, but Arkansas is the one that really got the visit. And he only visited Arkansas and Oklahoma State, so we'll see how it goes. But I do expect something in the next couple of weeks, and I think personally it'll be good for Arkansas. But when kids leave here, they come off the high, so anything can happen. But I'll take my chances on predicting he's going to be a Hog one day, pretty soon, next few weeks.
It's a good reminder, have you ever had anybody come off a visit and be like, "Man, that sucked. I'm never coming back here again." Like, generally, it's pretty positive regardless, right?
I don't I don't think I have. I mean, honestly, if they did, I did have one time tell me, well, it was okay. But this kid was committed to another school, and
Yeah.
he was doing nothing but taking a visit to get a free trip, And he goes, well, it was okay. I mean, that's probably the closest thing. He didn't say it stinks or anything, but and I don't remember who he was or where he was going, but I do remember that since you said that. He just said, well, it was okay. I mean, he shrugged his shoulders like nothing special. I thought, oh, okay. You're not getting a free story from me, buddy. But
That's
anyway,
funny.
yeah,
Yeah, but
that's the closest thing to that.
yeah, yeah. Well, regardless, Lincoln, a big time piece out of
Yeah.
Lancaster, and again, one Arkansas would really like. Sticking on the defensive side of the ball as we roll through these, let's go JJ Bush, linebacker, kid out of Alabama as well. And all of these guys, priority targets for Arkansas, but another
Oh, yeah.
one in that linebacking core the Razorbacks would really like to add here.
Yeah, 6'3", 210, 4-star from Theodore, Alabama. Had a ton of offers down to Arkansas, LSU, Cincinnati, and Missouri as his 4 finalists. Visited them all. He will be making a decision here coming up July the 2nd. Uh, if I had to bet on him, and he had a great visit, T-Well took him out to his house and stuff, and he just blew him away with it. But if I had to, and I may be wrong on this because the kid didn't give me this indication. If I had to make a prediction today, I'd say LSU, but I don't know. I mean, I think it's between Arkansas and LSU. I don't think Missouri and Cincinnati is really a factor, but I do think he visited LSU last weekend, Arkansas this weekend. Like I said, if I had to make a gut feeling on him, it'd probably be LSU. And I don't know why I say that because he really didn't give me any indication on that. Didn't give me any indication it was Arkansas. But he wasn't as excited about it as Lancaster. Sorry, Lincoln from Lancaster as Lincoln was. But then again, every kid does. I mean, he may have been just as excited and doesn't show it like Lincoln. You don't know. I don't know these kids other than just meeting them, and so my gut feeling is it'll be Arkansas or LSU, and if I had to pick one, I'd go with LSU. But hopefully, I'm wrong on that one and right on the other one. Yeah, hopefully, I hit on Lincoln and wrong on Bush. I can't hear you, Jacob. If you can hear me.
Oh, I was muted. That's on me completely.
Okay, okay. I was gonna say,
Well,
I'm sorry, I can't hear you. Yeah,
I
I
was
saw your
talking to
lips
nobody,
moving, so I knew you were talking.
there. But what I was saying muted was kind of on that point. Another guy similar in similar kind of vein, Tay Locket here, a guy Arkansas fans know really well, solely from
Yeah,
the fact that a 20 class of 2026 guy, really highly recruited, and Razorback fans probably remember he committed back in 2023. We're talking
exactly.
by the time that he starts at Arkansas, fingers crossed, it'll have been 3 years since he was committed. But fans kind of wondering. He visited UCLA. I know you had a chance to catch up with him as well. He was back
Yeah,
on campus for the
he
Razorbacks.
visited UCLA and Oregon, and here's the thing with him: he's solid to Arkansas, but I've seen stories saying UCLA's closer to home. Well, here's the deal on that: most kids don't care about that. C.J. Brown did. Most kids don't. It's the parents that want to stay closer to home.
Yeah.
Well, in this case, I think the parents would kill him if he didn't come to Arkansas. they he committed on their birthday, Jacob. I don't know how it worked out where both parents had a birthday the same day, but he committed on their birthday to Arkansas. And like I said, the closest to home is not a factor with his parents. They want him here. And he told me today he's solid. He said he's been committed for 2 years, but it just seemed like forever. That kid, I mean, he was easily the first one committed. He's one of the
Yeah.
earliest commitments we've had. I
Yeah.
mean, since I've been doing this lately. I mean, he real fast. But yeah, but Tate told me he's solid with the Razorbacks, and I take him for his word. I didn't feel like there was any fake stuff there. I mean, the kid was pretty sincere. He's been on our show. He knows me, and
Hmm.
and we got a very good relationship. And I feel like he's shooting me straight. And he just said, "Don't worry, it's no fans don't need to worry. I'm going to be a Razorback."
Yeah.
That's
It's
good enough for me because I
yeah.
I take him at his word. He has always shot me straight, and he said, he took those visits to check them out, But like I said, the closest to home, like I said, other than C.J. Brown, most of the time that's the parents that saying it more than the kid. Now I told you on here, if somebody didn't move their campus closer to Arkansas than Bentonville, C.J. was going to be a Razorback. But most kids are not that adamant about it. It's the parents that are. In this case, Tay Lockett's parents want him here. So the distance home, I never bought that as a factor for UCLA, and I don't think Tay really cares about that. And then Oregon, I think was just a visit.
Mm. Yeah, yeah, I think it was and continues to be something Razorback fans have their eye on. Just again because of it was just a little bit unique the way and when he committed, and obviously he has the family connections to Arkansas. But man, that
Yeah,
was at the end of his freshman year. It's hard to hold
yeah,
on to somebody for that long, but a positive to hear that he's still solid in his commitment. The
yeah.
last
I
one
really
will,
believe that.
yeah,
I really
yeah,
believe that. That's what
yeah.
he told me.
Yeah, yeah. The last one we'll hit here before we hit our first quick break here. Speaking of CJ Brown, Bentonville kid, Dcoin Pereo, a wide receiver, and kind of continuing that lineage of local wide receivers here for the Razorbacks. A guy that's got a
Yeah.
whole lot of talent that the
They,
Hogs are looking at.
he just moved here from Liberty Island about two or three a few weeks ago. I saw him, Jacob. I saw him Wednesday at the 7-on-7 tournament at the University of Arkansas. Man, he's a real deal. He's a 4-star with, I believe it's rivals, but he's the real deal. Daquan is, and yeah, he told there again. He's another one. He visited SMU and some other schools, and I know an SMU reporter was predicting he'd go to SMU. He told me today, no, no. I mean, I'm a Razorback, and I think
Mhm.
if there was ever any doubt about Arkansas and SMU, I think once he moved to Bentonville, I think that pretty much ended that SMU stuff. But he told me just like Tate, that he was solid to Arkansas. There was nothing to worry about. And I'm going to tell you, he and Blair Irvin the fourth are both committed to Arkansas from Bentonville. That
Yeah.
may be one of the best 1-2 punches in the country at wide receiver. I mean, I'm serious. Blair was hurt. Irvin was hurt Wednesday, and didn't he had a cast a hand and an arm and a cast hand, but he didn't play in the 7-on-7. But Daquan did. But yeah, but that's going to be this fall one of the best 1-2 wide receiver punches in the country. I mean, it's a combination that you'd love to be the quarterback with that group.
Yeah, a whole lot of weapons there, and fun local tandem there. Arkansas fans, if you're around, definitely get out this fall and see a couple of games. It just is the way recruiting is in terms of
Yeah,
guys taking visits regardless, and it is a roller coaster until the
yeah,
end, and will continue to be for Arkansas, and will
yeah.
continue to be for the other six guys we're going to talk about. But before we do, let's hit a quick break. All right, back here on the Arkansas Football Recruiting Report. Otis, let's keep rolling through these visitors. Six more that I know you want to hit before we move on to a couple commit news. What are you hearing in terms of these guys and visits overall for this past weekend
Uh,
for the Hogs.
You know me, I always love seeing Coach Scarborough. He was here today. I think that's my adopted son, man. He came up to me and we gave a big hug. I talked to his parents before he came down and everything before I saw him. And yeah, they remembered me and everything. And yeah, good people, but Coach is just a big kid, solid. I mean, he'd never wavered one time, in
Mhm.
spite of everybody in the country recruiting him. I saw a kid named Adam Austin. Hey, the other kid from Lawton, Oklahoma, from Lawton Mac, and I'm gonna tell you, he's bigger, folks, than the recruiting service. They have him listed 6'1", 200. He's 6'2", 220. This kid is huge, and I mean, good looking, not fat, or he had a New York Yankees shirt on today. I told him that ought to be worth at least 2 extra stars. But he had a New York Yankee shirt. Man, he's good looking safety. I mean, I don't know it. I've seen better looking safeties come through here in quite a while than what Adam looks like. He's just bigger. I've been listed at 6'2", 212. So I had him bigger than the recruiting service. But yeah, he measured in at 6'2", 6'2", 6'2" and a half, 212, 220. I'm sorry. He told me 215, but then I heard it was 220. So whatever. He's a lot bigger than he's listed. He's not 200. And anybody that looks at him can tell that. But he's a good looking kid, Jacob. The other visitors were Kendrick Williams, our buddy from Fayetteville, a safety from Fayetteville High School, Cornell Jackson, 6'3", about 230. I'm sorry, 6'3", 335 from Auburn, Alabama, defensive tackle. I've got him 235 in my notes. It's 335. I think he was
Jeez.
235 when he was born. I don't know what I'm doing there. Ari Slocum, our kid, was on the show with us, 6'4", 307 defensive tackle. Kate Bush, his parents watch us every week from Minnesota. His dad said,
There you
"You're
go.
Otis." Yeah, watch you every week. I told him, I said, "Sorry, I haven't had Kate on. Didn't have contact information, but I told Kate he can come on anytime he wants to after
Love it.
go next week going forward." So that may be something for fans to look for. Kate Bush, he looked good. I had never seen him. But 6'2", I mean 6. I'm sorry, 6'5", 220. Just a good looking kid. I missed somebody. That was no, I guess that's all of them. I think that's everybody that was here this weekend. That's 6. Kate Bush, Ari Slocum, Parnell Jackson, Kendrick Williams, plus the 2 Oklahoma kids. So that's
Mhm.
6. Okay, I hit everybody, but it was 10 kids. 8 committed to Arkansas, and Bush and Lincoln were the only 2 not committed. And I will have a story on Bush at 3 on Pig Trail Nation Hogville, and Lincoln at 3:30 today.
Mhm.
Fully
Mhm.
written stories, pictures, uh,
All
huddle
the above.
video. Yeah, so we'll have it all today.
All the
And there'll be
above.
stories on the others during the week on the commitments. I'll space those out this week. Give me something to write about this week. But starting tomorrow, there'll be some stories for 3 or 4 days on those commitments.
Let's talk commitments now moving forward. Past just official visitors. Again, it's been 2 weeks since you and I have chatted, so a whole
Yeah.
lot of news for Arkansas. Let's begin to roll through some of these. We begin with
Hmm.
Ashton Dawson, a Louisiana kid. His team was here for the whole 7-on-7 deal. Just
Yeah.
a super athletic kid. He commits to the Hogs during the
Yeah.
state stretch.
He's only 6'2", 285, small fullback, I'm gonna tell you what, he's a load coming at you. He plays running back for Shreveport Evangel, and they won that tournament, by the way,
Yeah.
Jacob. They won the U of A tournament. But he plays defensive tackle for them too. But Bobby Petrino personally recruited him to play fullback. Uh, he had two carries his junior year for 24 yards, and guess what? 2 touchdowns.
He touched.
When he tested, he scored. He caught 2 passes for 15 yards and only had 1 touchdown. So there was one time he caught a ball and didn't get in the end zone. So I guess he's slacking a little bit. But he had 103 tackles on defense. The kid's really good. He had 17 for loss, 4 sacks. So I mean, if it never worked out at fullback, this kid could go to defensive
Yeah.
tackle. But he's great size for fullback. And he's more athletic than you would think. I mean, like I said, he played running back for Evangel, but 6'2", 285, but didn't really carry the ball that much, but blocked a lot in their offense. But he's somebody who can protect. He can somebody protect the quarterback and stuff.
Hmm.
He's a big blocker, and he can help block the quarterback, keep those offensive linemen and I mean, I'm sorry, the defensive lineman off of his quarterback. So yeah, that's a good pickup for Arkansas.
Yeah, big time. A versatile guy, I think for sure, and a guy
Yeah.
that just a lot you can do with somebody like that. And
Oh
again,
yeah.
his 7-on-7 team getting it done in terms of that tournament. Let's flip over to the defensive side of the ball. You might have to help me here. Kiive Foster,
Hmm.
a safety out of Alabama, and a guy that pretty highly regarded that Arkansas beat out a couple SEC programs for Mississippi State, Missouri, a couple others, and Arkansas
Yeah.
ultimately gets their guy here.
Well, he's a 6'4" safety. He's not as thick as not as thick as Adam, but he's about 185. But he's 6'4", a big kid that can run. I really like him. I like him probably more than the recruiting services do. They've got him a fairly high 3-star, but I really like him. Yeah, it is Kiabe. He pronounced his name a little bit different, but I always thought it's Kiwi, but it's not. But yeah, he's rangy.
Yeah.
Can make tackles. He's from Muscle Shoals, Alabama, down there in Alabama. They've got a lot of kids down there. Scott Fountain found him, actually, believe it or not. Scott find no punters and kickers everywhere, snappers, but boy, he found a very good safety right there. And he said that was something else. He knew Scott didn't really recruit that many positional players. He said that meant a lot to him. That Scott offered him pretty early, got on him, and he said that was special for him. So that impressed him, and I think it helped Arkansas. And that's a good pickup for them. He's a good player. He's a high 3-star, but I think he may be a little bit better than that. And he's a very good kid. He didn't waste any time. He visited the week before last. We didn't do the show Sunday, but he committed. He left on Sunday and committed on Sunday. So, and actually he committed for and so yeah, he's just somebody that knew what he wanted, saw Arkansas, and it was everything and more than he thought it'd be. And he jumped on board immediately. Didn't waste any time looking around and I'll weigh my options. He'd already weighed those options, and they all favored the Hogs.
He fits into that mold. We talked about this a couple of weeks ago, Otis. They're really targeting guys in the secondary with length. When you
Yeah,
think 6'4", I mean, that is a rangy guy that is
yeah.
just versatile. And that seems to be a kind of an archetype of secondary guys they continue to target here.
Well, that's that too. And the thing about him, I see he's not as thick as Adam Austin,
Yeah.
but the thing about him is he's 6'4". He can
Yeah.
put on the weight. He can put on. He could easily put on 20 pounds. I'm sorry, 40 pounds. He could be 225 and not lose any speed. He could easily
Yeah.
put on 40 pounds, 30, 40 pounds, somewhere in there. I don't know, but I'm not a strength coach, but I've got a feeling just looking at his frame, he looked like someone could probably put on 30 or 40 pounds. And I'm talking about, if anything, maybe get faster. He's got that type of
Yeah.
frame. He probably hadn't worked. I don't know how much he's worked on weights or what kind of strength program they got and muscle shows, but he's got a chance to be a big. But can't coach a kid to be 6'4", and he is. So that's a plus there. Yeah, I tell you who's really kid that hit the portal one time with Selman Bridges, and he jumped back out and went back to Arkansas. He's hosting all these kids. He
Yeah.
loves it here now. I don't know what happened to Selman. He went in the portal for a few days, only for about less than a week, if I remember right. It was very temporary. But every kid I talked to, who hosted you? Selman Bridges, Selman Bridges. I said, what's he like? He loves it here, And they told, yeah, even Lincoln told me that, I'll quit calling him Lancaster in a minute, but Lincoln told me that too, and so did Foster last week. I mean, Selman's all over that place recruiting, man. I tell you what, they need to put him on. He should have a place on the staff when he leaves here because he's a heck of a recruiter, man. This kid once went in the portal. I mean, I don't know what happened there, but he sure came out of it and changed his attitude or mind on it, and he's doing a great job for them. They depend on him to recruit these kids, and Selman's really doing a good job. And I hope he gets to see the field a little bit more. And I think he will this fall. He's got a chance. The opportunity's there, and I think he'll run with the opportunity and makes him. He impressed me in the spring when he was out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, I got
Well,
off on that.
no,
That has
you're,
nothing to
you're
do with
fine. I
recruiting,
think,
but he
think that,
does recruit.
yeah, I think that's a great example of college football in 2025. We'll put
Yeah,
it that way in
yeah,
terms of Selman back on board and
yeah,
getting it done
and
on the
recruiting
recruiting
like
trail
heck
there.
for him. Recruiting like
Yeah.
crazy.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, on the recruiting trail and doing well in that regard. All right, we got three more commits to run through, but first, another quick break and a message from our sponsors. Back here on the Arkansas Football Recruiting Report, wrapping up shop, Jacob Morris and Otis Kirk with you. And let's stay on the defensive side of the ball and talk Cameron McGee, a Georgia kid, another pickup for the Hogs in the recent weeks, and an addition for Deke Adams to that defensive line.
People wondered about that, but they beat Georgia, and Michigan, and other schools to get Cameron. I mean,
Yeah.
it wasn't like and he had other SEC offers. I mean, he had a bunch of SEC offers, but Michigan and Georgia were among them. And this kid chose Arkansas, and they really like him. And I saw him; he is built. He's like all these other defensive linemen they brought in. Those three they brought in this weekend. Those are good-looking kids. But Cam is a good-looking kid. Committed to Arkansas. Came in earlier for a visit, and then went public with. I think it was last Sunday, if I remember right. But he didn't commit on his visit. Took about a week to think about it and then jumped on board. That's a good pickup for Arkansas. And Deke Adams done a really good job, but that's another good pickup and a big defensive tackle too.
Yeah, yeah. I think we might say it every single week without fail, but guys like that, defensive tackles, they don't grow on trees. So
That's
it's a
exactly
big
right.
time pickup for
If they did,
Arkansas.
they're bunch
Yeah,
of coaches be out there picking that trees,
yeah.
picking those trees like cherries or peaches or something.
All the above, yeah. No,
Yeah,
that's
like
a big
fruit.
pickup. They had to beat out a couple teams for him.
Yeah,
Let's wrap up with two guys that Arkansas would like to add targets.
yeah,
Back on the offensive side of the ball, Keemian Henderson, a wide receiver, a Carthage kid, and we've talked a little bit about the wide receivers in this class. This is a
yeah.
guy that Arkansas would like to add just from the standpoint of kind of continuing to build the versatility of that position group.
Well, he's got a lot of speed. It's down to Arkansas and Kansas, Arkansas, TCU, Kansas State for him. But I predict Arkansas and him. We'll know July the 5th is when we'll know on him. It's July the 5th. He will go public, but he's got, he got a teammate from last year that signed with Arkansas, an offensive lineman from Carthage. But this is a kid that's just really fast. And I know he's 6'4", 185, and that kind of speed. Arkansas loves him. I mean, they feel like he can get on the field extremely fast, and they have him rated ahead of a lot of the guys that's rated a lot higher him with the recruiting services. Arkansas has him higher on the board than them, and that's what I've been told. I haven't seen the board, but I've been told he's pretty high on that board. And so after he's a priority recruit, it's safe to say. Safe to say he's a priority recruit for the Hogs, Jacob.
Yeah, big time. And again, just the speed and it's just difference making when you add a guy like that potentially. We wrap our final target here for the Hogs, another guy with a commitment date coming up. DB
Yeah.
Isaiah Washington, another Louisiana kid, another guy in the secondary that would be a really nice add for this class if Arkansas could pull it off.
Be a cornerback, safety, 6 foot, I believe about 190, if I remember right, 195, whatever. But he's from Haynesville, Louisiana. He will announce on July the 4th. There'll be some fireworks if he goes to Arkansas, but I think he will. I feel good about Arkansas with him. I feel good with Arkansas about both those kids. I really feel good about Washington, and they did a good job on him. And he was up here, and he's got a lot of offers, but it's Arkansas is at the top of his list, and I'd be shocked if he didn't come to Arkansas. I really would.
Yeah, it's funny just the way that obviously recruiting never stops, but it's going to be a busy couple of weeks here for the Hogs, and I think
Yeah,
fireworks is a good way to talk about it. You add both these guys, they continue to be a great way to build on
yeah.
this class, right?
Bush is July the 2nd,
Yeah.
and there's going to be another kid coming up on the 4th of July, is what I understand. A kid, his name's not there yet, but there's be at least a couple of commitments on or announcements on the 4th of July, and then one on the 5th, one on Bush the July the 2nd. So I mean, it's coming. It's not going. The visits have ended after today. This is it,
Yeah.
but the recruiting news has not stopped and will not stop either. It will not stop. I mean, they're going to keep on, and no more till they get that done, get all these commitments in the fold. Then here comes SEC Media Day. So the football's right around the corner.
It seems like it's far away, but yeah, it's just about two
Yeah,
months away. I know you'll keep us posted on all the recruiting
yeah.
news. But that's gonna do it for this week's Arkansas football recruiting report. That is Otis Kirk. I am Jacob Morris. We will talk to you next week. More Picture Show coming up on the other side of the break.